Welcome to winter. Can't complain though. I mean, I wouldn't consider it cold. I'm doing all right. Jean jacket and a knit hat. Maybe it's in the upper 20s this morning, but I can't complain because along the lakes I found, I lived on the shoreline of Lake Michigan for 27 years or so. I mean, on the shoreline. The property was on the shoreline. The nature preserve that I managed. Trail System Public Beach Nature Center, Interpretive Center, Education Center. And then retired to Rogers City. That's where I am. I'm doxing myself, but I do not fear because I have, a good audience. You're not going to come here and stalk me and stuff like that. So I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. On the shores of Lake Huron, not on the shoreline. Couldn't afford shoreline property, and plus I wouldn't want to be on the shoreline because in the winter it gets brutal. 5-minute walk, 7 minutes if I'm strolling. But the snow kind of skips over us and really hits along I-75, Gaylord, Grayling, Kalkaska, Kasky as they say, Mansalona, Mansaltucky. Sorry, I had to get that in there. And if you've ever driven through Mansalona at night in the winter, you know, because it's that bare open field there, along the snowmobile path, just all the potato fields, I believe, potato fields. It was a perfect potato field. It was a beautiful potato field. I had to do that. I had to. And you can't even see the road. You just want to stay off the snowmobile trails and hope that you're on the road. But yeah, it's not too bad. A couple inches of snow here. Haven't even needed to shovel. I've got a Facebook buddy, friend, up in, I like it, up in Marquette, Even though Gaylord received 24 inches of snow, and I think they got another 12 set records, up in Marquette on the shores of Lake Superior, probably a lot more snow, probably 1,000 feet of snow. And I asked my Facebook friend, one of four, I bet you got more snow than us, and all I got was yup in reply. So yeah, hang in there. Spring is on its way. But it's kind of a mind. Again, you got to adjust. If you're not from the northern climes, you're not so familiar with short days where you're getting ready to go to work and it's still dark. And when I get home, it'll be light for a half an hour, then it'll get dark again. Talk about seasonal defective disorder. It's tough. Talking about Facebook, I'm getting better. I'm following a lot of classic car, bow and arrow things, a lot of classic motorcycles. And it's starting to wash away the chaff. I still get the Instagram models sticking their butts right in the camera and stuff like that. I gotta troll them. I'll get the same pages. Is that what you call them? Over and over again. Even though I say I don't want to see this, block it. Rolla Ashby is one of them. I mean, how many times have I blocked that? So I'm just going with it now. I'm trolling them. Like there was one, and this is kind of racy, so if you're under 12, cover your ears. The typical big posterior right in the camera, and wearing those little dainty short things, slippery when wet. And so I go, yeah, you need to avoid people with wet butts. I'm just trolling them now. Hopefully they'll just go away. But in other news, this morning, I wake up early. As usual, 4:30, I set my alarm for 6. I want to get some more sleep, but I wake up at 4, but 4:30. But in the morning, I think my greatest thoughts. I take my life and where it's been and where it's gone, and I dissect it and scientifically analyze it, and I can say, some things in my life currently could be changed and improved. But then I look at it from a different viewpoint, and it's like, I've done a lot of things, a lot of tough things in my life. And maybe to ride out the last, now 3.5 years of employment until I can collect a decent Social Security and make enough money on top of that, and my wife will have Social Security, Not pension. No, I don't. I didn't think ahead. But we'll be okay. That this is a test. This is life is a marathon, and this is the final push when everything is more painful and you're tired. So, I need to think about how to improve things. And, one thing is I need to watch what I eat, because without a good diet, your health will fail and you won't have everything. And I need to just force myself and get out and walk, even though my job is very physical and I'm running around like a squirrel looking for a nut. I need to do physical things that I enjoy, like even walking in the dark. Break out a flashlight, put yak tracks on your shoes so I don't take a tumble and break my elbow or something like that. Can't lift 50-pound sacks of potatoes. It's like, manage your health and exercise in a fun way. You need to do that. You don't fall into drinking, you don't fall into drugs, you don't fall into negative things. You need to push forward and do positive things. And no matter how dire the circumstances are, you need to manage your stress. And so a couple nights ago, I'm like, I told my wife, my lovely wife, I said, you know what? I'm stressed out. I really am. I'm stressed out. But instead of laying in bed before I go to sleep and thinking about the negative things, I need to just be zen and almost, as it were, meditate and think about positive things, and maybe just look out the window and look at the pretty winter scene, and don't worry about it. You don't worry about stuff, you act upon it. There you go. Now, this is actually related here. Actually related. It's tearing things down to their basic structure. It's like, yes, I've got the sinew bow, the one that's recurved, but I have to realign one of the recurves a little bit. I mean, it's acceptable. It doesn't go off the recurve, but it's not centered. So I'm going to have, and I'll show you, I'm going to create a heat shield and I'm going to blast with the heat gun, overbend it a little bit, guess will be okay, and reclaim the straightness in that recurve. It happens, and I need to get it down another like 5 or 6 pounds. But at that point, because it's a sales bow and it's not being given away, I need to really zero in, work extremely carefully and slowly, more than if it was my own personal bow, to get it perfect, and then come up with a design for the back. And so, on this day off tomorrow, this is day off eve, sort that out. But getting back to basics, it's like, why, out of everything I could do, out of any bow I can make, why am I currently fascinated with this little bow blank, which was taken from the measurements of an actual native horse bow that was made out of hickory. This is, if you're looking at just this, the shape, dimensions, that shoulder there, which if you get one of these, you can sand it off to get a taper tip. You don't have to keep that shoulder, but this was actually taken from an actual bow, which is kind of cool. But why am I fascinated with that? It's like a scientific experiment. You say 5 things, the minimum 5 things you would take if you're going adventuring or survivaling, right? We're into minimal things. It's like the bow drill for me is too complex, because you need to have, to start a fire, you need to have that string, and that is a huge thing. You're out, you didn't plan for it. If you're going to I'm bringing a string for a bow drill, you might as well bring a Bic lighter. Just saying. Don't want to make anybody mad, or a ferro rod or something like that. If you're actually out there, you're probably not going to have a good string for your bow drill, so you need to learn how to do this, which I did, but I wasn't super good at it. So I would take a piece of wood and make a little divot in it, see a little socket, and then kind of shape the top of the drill, the thing that you're spinning, and I'd hold it in my teeth and put pressure on it, so I didn't need to do this. I would just do this, and I had more pressure by just pushing down on it. Eliminated the whole need for a string. Don't have a tent. I know how to build a shelter. I've built some pretty darn good shelters, and slept in them without a sleeping bag in the winter. Minimalist. And so, what the heck? Isn't the minimalist bow one made from just a sapling? Yes. What's the benefit of fiddling around with one of these red oak bow blanks? Well, The benefit of fiddling around with these brittle bow blanks is, and I'm not saying you need to buy one, buy 3 of them, is that you've got these similar things, right? And I pretty much match the density of the wood. There's some variability. But you can, what is the effect of fire hardening? Do one not? Do one fire harden? Whoa, it's improved. What about the shape? One of these things and its deflex was caused by the fire hardening, so I just neutralized it by bending the handle back. What's the effect of that? What is the effect of gull winging it? And so I could have like 6 of these things. Same darn thing starting out, unlike saplings, which are incredibly variable. This one, not fire hardened, just straight. This one fire hardened and basically straight. This one fire hardened, gull winged. This one fire hardened, reflex deflex. You see where I'm going with this? And you can take one of these things, and actually, especially if you had multiple, and I'm thinking about saying you can buy 2 or 3 of them at a greatly reduced price. You see, so you can get 3 of these things and learn from them. I even thought about, and that's minimalist, you know, I want to increase my understanding of the dynamics of bows, so I'm going to get multiple, which I do, multiple things. I make them just alike, following the same patterns, and I do different things to them. What happens? And I even thought, this is the last bit, yeah, about time to head out for work, and I've got my Lassie, my vintage Lassie lunchbox filled with peanut butter jelly sandwiches. Wouldn't that be cool? I don't know how far this would go because I don't have a wide-ranging audience. I could say, smash that like button and share and become a subscriber, which I never do. To spread it around. I could even write an article maybe and submit it to Primitive Archer, you know. I've done that before. And it's like, I will, three of these blanks, right? And greatly reduced price. You can get 3 and not spend $1 million on them. And then have a flight shooting contest. Whoever wins this flight shooting contest with something based on that, and you rawhide back it, just self bow, whatever, you know, sinew back it, shape it any way you want. And whichever one can fling an arrow of any mass, any weight, any length, whatever, just how far you can throw that arrow, you know, whoever wins the distance, you know, will win a prize. I thought that was kind of a neat idea, you know, and it will actually add, because it's a scientific method. All these things are based on the same, basically, bow. How did you make it fly that far? What were the lessons you've learned in that? Now, I've been trying this on my videos, but anyway, I need to say sayonara, have a great day. If you're in Marquette, good luck shoveling. If you're in Gaylord or Grayling or Mansalona, see, I said it, I didn't say Mansaltucky, that would be considered a slam. Or Fife Lake, I know that some of you have Fife Lake connections. You know, good luck shoveling. Have a good one. Enjoy your winter, because that's what we got. You might as well enjoy it. That is all. John signing off. You are released from this formation.